Welcome, everyone. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 927. Today, I'm going to talk more about Windows 11 because I finally upgraded my main system. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about a few things. I'm going to talk some Windows 11 tips like WinAero, Explorer Patcher. Then I have some links for Windows 10 extended support and what that's going to cost, what that could possibly look like if you need to do it or for your clients. It's not that expensive, so an option. And then ePUB reader, that I needed a pub reader, and I found a Firefox add-in, which is great and works really good. And then an Outlook tip, something ran into this week when we were converting email for a client, and especially when you're trying to get Gmail to work with Outlook, it's always a pain. And a great tip on that. Today is Saturday, November 9th, and I'm doing the show on Saturday in the afternoon because Thursday night I was with a client at the Flyers Tampa game down here in Florida. But today, a special birthday wish to my wife, Dorothy. It's her birthday. Now, next week, I am traveling to Fort Lauderdale for a project, which I've talked about. And there's not going to be a show Thursday night. So the next show will be Thursday, the 21st of November at 7:30 p.m. regular place on Twitch, and that's Eastern time, of course. So let's get started. And it was interesting since the last show. Every few days, I get that alert that Windows 11 is available. And I've been putting it off, and the reason I put it off, it's not because I don't like Windows 11 or that I had, real problems that I'm worried about. It's the fact that I have so many clients on Windows 10 that I need to be able to look at the options for Windows 10 very quickly and test things. So here's what I decided. My main system here in Florida, I decided that's it. I pulled the trigger, and it was last Saturday night I let it update, and it took like half hour to download once I kicked it off. And this is an in-place upgrade. And then in about an hour and a half, everything was finally done, and I was booting up into Windows 11, and then I did my custom tweaks that I need to have, and that's why I will have those links in the show notes, and I'll start to talk about that, and I'm going to start to put that on the video. Don't forget to check out everything on YouTube. If you're listening to this, you'll be able to go to YouTube/Michael Smith MTS and be able to see what I'm going to demonstrate today. Or don't forget, just go to MikeTechShow.com for all of the show notes. Now, if you have some extraordinary Windows 11 tips, email me, MikeTechShow@gmail.com, and I'll do another show just condensing all the tips and then displaying it and talking about it. So I am going to switch to my display capture, and I am going to remote in to my test system up in Pennsylvania. Now, I started thinking about something, and my Windows 11 is 22H2, and I know they have 24H2 is already out. And one of the things I don't know if I'm going to do it, that the consensus is wait until it's available. They're slowly rolling that out, Microsoft, for that update to 24H2. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to do it manually or not. But if you are, don't forget there's a great download link, and that's what I'm showing here. This will be the first link in the show notes. And you got the Windows 11 Installation Assistant, and you can download that and do an in-place update to the latest, greatest version of Windows 11. But 24H2 still has a couple lingering issues. So I'm going to wait until my system wants to naturally download it. I don't want to take a chance. Now, I could create a restore point. I do got backups, but I just don't want to go through any risk for my main system. And then, of course, there's another link on the page, which is to create Windows 11 installation media. And you need that to create the bootable stick. And this will make the latest, greatest version, so you'd be able to have 24H2 and go directly to it. Now, my son and I have definitely ran into different issues, especially when Windows 10. I recommend having multiple USB sticks. I would recommend having 22H2, 23H2, 24H2. I'd recommend 3 USB sticks in case you run into issues where you're doing Windows 11 from scratch. Now you have another option to try. We have been recommending now anybody that's prompted for Windows 11 that they can naturally, their system can has performed the checks and the Windows update says, hey, you're compatible, you can run Windows 11. We recommend clients doing it now because there's less problems. All my devices are working. Most of the printer drivers were able to navigate through any issues. So for the most part, we've been very successful in having our clients naturally do that. Or sometimes they say, hey, why don't you do it? And for the systems that can, that's going to be great because over this next year, we got to do an inventory again and again of what Windows 10 existing systems are. And we want to make sure by October 2025 that we have all of our clients with Windows 11 because they won't be able to get the security updates. So we're going to talk about that again in a few minutes. So what is the first utility that I have to run? And that is WinAero Tweaker. So one of the things that I'm going to have the link to WinAero.com. One of the big, one of the really big options that I need, and I'm going to run this right now from my downloads on the system. And let's get to the directory for WinAero. And there it is. And let's run that. Well, actually, that's the setup. So hold on a second. We're going to install it. Normal mode. Oh, you know what? I like portable mode when we're running these utilities. So if you get that option, man, run portable if you can. So setup is preparing to install. There we go. It's finished. And let's get to the PC and go to WinAero Tweaker. And here's WinAero. Okay. So one of the tweaks I absolutely have to have in Windows, if you look at the section on Windows 11, I have to have the classic full context menu. Now, what that means, and I'm going to demonstrate, is when you right click, you get the standard menu. I am so tired. I do this, my son and I, we do this on every computer because when you right click, I don't like the context menu when Windows 11 changes to. So this is the first tweak that I absolutely have to have. So that's one. I need the standard because I'm tired of clicking more and going through everything. Now, you have classic taskbar you can download. You can disable background apps. Here you go. Disable Copilot. So I disable it. I disable the Copilot taskbar button. You can enable the ribbon. I don't do that. I'm trying to embrace the File Explorer ribbon changes that they've made, but you can permanently enable, just by checking a box, the classic File Explorer. Then you can enable stickers. I don't need that. Or remove Windows Spotlight from the desktop. Don't do that. Now I'm scrolling down to the very last section of WinAero, and that is to get the classic apps. I have to have Windows Photo Viewer. I am addicted to the standard Windows Photo Viewer. I don't like the photo that they introduced with Windows 10, the Photo Viewer. I like the new calculator, but here you can actually install the classic calculator. This one is a must. There's a link to get, install, and it works you through how you can make it the default. It's the classic notepad, and you see that on my desktop. I despise the new notepad for Windows 11. Now, these are all personal preferences, but that I already know because I've already executed these things. I need to have it. Just got to some things. That was like last week when I talked about the Microsoft Picture It, that I have a client that just has to have that old version and got to get it to work. So, and I went over the tweaks on how to get it to work. Now, I don't use Paint, but here you can get the classic Paint, classic sticky notes. Here you go, classic WordPad, classic gadgets. So if you have a client or yourself and you want to get some of these classic apps for your Windows 11, here you go. Classic games from Windows 7. So now, one of the other things I do, I go into settings and go to apps, and then let's take a look at installed apps that I have here on my system. And here you can see classic notepad. I remove a lot of the junk that Windows 11 brings, and I always go through this like I don't have or need an Xbox. So this is really when Windows first installs. I have you see WinToys here, WinGet, and WinAero Tweaker installed. A lot of these things, because it's my test system, Ultravirus Killer, VLC, you'll see all the different programs, Power Toys. These are things that I like to demonstrate and talk about. So that's why they're already installed on this test system. But my personal system, I tweaked, and I got rid of a lot of the programs and apps that I don't need or don't want. Especially the new mail, the new Outlook. I despise that, and I don't want it. And and the big thing is it doesn't work with hosted Exchange, so I definitely uninstall that. So, a couple things, and here it's very simple. WinAero Tweaker, great download. The next one, I have a link to where you can download it and then install. And this is the I'm installing it now. Give me a second here and it'll come up. It's Explorer Patcher. So I'm running Explorer Patcher, and okay, we paused because Explorer Patcher crashed. All right, doing it live. All right, so let's. Nope. All right. So anybody who's viewing this, so here. So what do you? I want to run Task Manager, and this is gonna be interesting. So let's hit Control Alt Delete. Let's get Task Manager, and then let's run a program, which is what we're going to have to do. And run a new task, and I'm going to pick Explorer, because when you crash like this, just rerun explorer.exe and it should put it back, and that's what it's trying to do right now as I locked up. So we don't know what happens, so we're gonna pivot, and we are going to display my regular screen. So here is Explorer Patcher. It should work, the link, and I've installed it, and I installed it here on my main system. And if you right click on the taskbar, you can click Properties, and now you have the different menu options for the taskbar. And as you see here, Windows 11 default, which is this current setup now. So let me pick Windows 10 default, and now I'm not going to restart Explorer again on this main system. I don't want to screw things up because I'm recording. So anyway, you can pick the Windows 11 or Windows 10 default on the taskbar. You can more taskbar options in the settings app, customize notification area. Here you can show the start button, show the task view button, which I have off, show widgets, and automatically hide the taskbar. You have system tray. You have File Explorer. There's lots of options as you walk down here. You have the Start menu, Windows Switcher, which is the Windows Switcher for the Alt-Tab style for switching between apps. There's Updates. You can receive pre-release. I don't like that. Oh, you know what? I got to start this over for the audio. So Explorer Patcher does work, and I'm now showing my main screen that I'm recording from. And you right click on the taskbar and click Properties. You'll notice one of the first options, you can pick a Windows 11 default style or Windows 10. Now it's interesting, after the upgrade on my system, it remained Windows 10, but I actually like the Windows 11 task and starting. Of course, I make sure to move it to the left part of the screen. That's just part of our settings. For search, I only use the icon because I just want a nice clean look with just the icons. You can go to System Tray and pick the taskbar skin for popping up the menus. Center tray icon pop up. There's show touch keyboard buttons, control center button. As you take a look at each of the options here, you can customize your environment more and more. So start menu, Windows switcher, you can pick how you want to switch. Do you want it the simple Windows NT version, which is funny, Windows 10, Windows 11? How many of you remember Windows NT? Here's some other options. You could just start going through and just check off the box that you want. Updates. How do you want to receive all of your updates? Do you check for updates? Advanced. Enable console. Dump memory leaks. About. And this is Explorer Patcher and the version, which, boy, they started in 2006 doing this. So the download is right from GitHub. And let's view the website here. And this is Explorer Patcher. This is what I'm going to have in the show notes. Now, in the show notes, it gets confusing on which one you're going to download. And so I have a link to the actual download, and it'll just download it right away. Instead of that, I think I'm going to put this link. So you can check it out. It's very simple to install and run. I don't know why I had to pause my test system locked up, and it's still locked up. And as a matter of fact, one of the things I am going to do is I'm going to reboot. So I am restarting my test system in Pennsylvania. I think that's the first time my test system completely locked up with me demonstrating something. So, you just can't predict what's going to happen. All right. After Explore Patcher, I have a link on The Verge for Windows 10 having the security options for Windows okay, let's start that over. Windows 10 support is going away. As we know, it's going away for October 2025. So what if you want to continue support? Well, I have a link, The Verge, where Microsoft, they want $30 a year per device for using Windows 10 and getting updates. Now, here's the article. We're not sure of the process. Now, if it's business, it's going to be $61 for a single year per computer. So what you want to do is wait a little bit. Wait till we get closer and they work this out so you can see what's going to happen. And if you have a client that absolutely refuses to go to Windows 11 because maybe they got to update all their hardware, if they're a business, they're going to be paying a little more per device. But that might be a better option than spending all the money for the hardware. Now, if it doesn't support Windows 11 and the hardware is probably old, they probably need new hardware. So obviously the best choice is to buy the new computer and talk them into that, and then convert, use something like Fab's auto backup to transfer the info from the old system to the new. Definitely that's recommended, but this is an option. So it could be, $30 or $61 depending on whether it's a commercial or whether it's business or personal. All right. So now I want to talk about, this is a really cool add-in that I am going to the website right now. It's ePUB Reader, and I am now displaying that. I already have it installed, and if I click on the ePUB Reader button, it's to view the .epub or the .pub files. So you need a reader, and what's really cool is I can just browse the publication right from the pop-up from the extension in my browser. So since I'm a Firefox user, this is my Firefox extension for ePUB Reader. Check it out. I think they got one for Chrome, and I've been using this. So a very, very cool option that I just ran into this week and needed it for a publication that I needed to view. So I thought that would be appropriate to talk about. The final item for today, I want to talk about Outlook. Using Outlook with Gmail. Google makes it so difficult sometimes. And now they hid the third-party apps option. It's very difficult to find. They keep moving it. So one of the things we found, and this is the way to really do it, when you go into your user's account and you bring up the Gmail security. So you go to security and then you search for app password. So search for app password and it'll bring you to the third-party apps, and then you type in Outlook and it worked. My son was going crazy. He was at a client where he had to migrate mail from their educational account where they were they're an alumni and the university, and something we're noticing that universities are pulling back their Microsoft and their email support for alumni. We're running into this more and more now for some bigger universities around the country are pulling their support. And so we got users that they've been using that for years and years, and they need to migrate their mail to like a Gmail account or something else that they have. So this one client, my son was over there using his laptop as the go-between between those two emails, and it was easy getting it from the university because that was Exchange, and he was able to connect when he set up the new profile. But he was having a crazy time trying to get the Gmail to work. And then he called me for some help, and with a little Googling, I was like, you know what? This is crazy. Why don't you just search on app password? He searched and it came right up. He typed in Outlook, and then Outlook got set up immediately. And now he was able to just drag and drop what the client needed to get migrated to his Gmail account, because the client does not have Outlook. He only uses his iPhone and iPad. He does not own a computer. So very, very interesting. We have a couple clients that live on iPad alone. That's very difficult. Like for me, it would be very difficult. I mean, I have, a newer iPad, but even I can't live on iPad alone. I need my MacBook Pro or my Windows laptop for doing work. It's hard to be able to do everything from an iPad. I can do a lot. I can get my email, I can text, I can view. Yes, I can use the web versions for Word and Excel, but I'm just not as comfortable. I got to have the laptop. So just interesting how someone just lives on their iPad. That is it for tonight's show, or I should say today, as I'm recording this on a Saturday afternoon. I want to thank everybody for staying subscribed and staying, listening to and watching the podcast. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your support and your donations. The link is always in the show notes of every show at MikeTechShow.com. Don't forget to email me, MikeTechShow@gmail.com. And the next show will be the 21st of November, Thursday night, barring no emergencies or client problems or issues. I will be on the air. So everybody have a great week, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.